Okay, so this is Earth and Life Science 2111, week 16. The topic is ecology. Today is January 7. Okay, there are objectives, tatlong objectives ito pero medyo mahaba, no? First, familiarize common ecological terms, appreciate the importance of ecosystem, understand the basic concepts of ecology. Okay, so yun lang naman. Okay, so let us define ecology. Ecology is a scientific study of the relationships between organisms and their environment. Ecology is a broad and diverse field of study that concerns itself with the relationship. No? So anong relationship ito? This is between organisms and environment, as well as the relationship between one environment and another. Okay, so eco came from the word oikos, no, meaning household, meaning a place to live in, and logos is study or logi. No? Okay, so next we have the levels of biological organization. Starting from atom, dito start tayo dito sa atom. Ito. Starting from atom, where atom is the smallest particle of an element that can enter into a chemical combination. So combining hydrogen and oxygen chemically produce water, particularly water molecule, wherein molecule is the smallest particle of a compound. So sa cells, no? Cells are largely composed of compounds that contain carbon. So next to that is the tissue. Cells make up tissues. Tissues make up organs. And organs make up organ system or body, no? Body system. And then organisms consist of organ systems. And then, so from the organism up, ecologists are most interested in the level that includes or is above an individual organisms. So from elephant to biosphere, yung interest ng ecologist. Okay. So next, we have this level of organization, the population. This includes all the members of the species in a given area. Community, all populations in a given area. So sa population ito. And then community. So sa population, isa klase. Community, marami na. No? And the ecosystem composed of the living community and non-living physical environment functioning together. So when we say ecosystem, included na yan sa water, sa mga non-living yan, sa mga situation, condition ng location ng ecosystem. Okay. So next is biome, is a community of plants and animals that have common characteristics for environment they exist in. They can be found over a range of continents. And lastly, we have the biosphere. So it is a portion of the earth in which life exists and is made up of many complex ecosystems. So complex ecosystem na yung biosphere. Okay, ito yung sa population, so group of individuals, kung frog lang, no? Then there are factors that would affect population. Insufficient food. Of course, kung insufficient ang food, pwedeng maubos yung species, no? Or pwede na yung nourishment nila, no? And then predation, competition, climate, and diseases. So those are factors that would affect population. Kasi basic natin dito yung population. Next is community. Community. This is made up of many groups of populations that interact in an area. Group of populations, group of one kind of animal, another kind of animal, and other populations. So we say forest populations, yung mga trees, mushrooms na doon, yung mga birds and other animals na nasa forest. Lake, no? So yung insects, yung fish, yung algae na noon sa lake. Okay, so we have this energy transfer and heat loss along a food chain. So an ecosystem, the sun is the primary source of energy on Earth. Sun. So yung solar system converted to chemical, solar energy as well, converted to chemical energy, not processed by photosynthesis in plants. And then plants, autotrophs, photosynthesis no, in the process. Tapos global cycles, nutrient cycles, heat transfer happens in the ecosystem. So by energy, solar energy dito, i-process yan to chemical energy, magagamit ni consumer, magagamit sa another consumer hanggang sa microbes. Now, observe that there is always heat lost in the process. So, ang solar energy, hindi 100% yung magagamit ng plant. Maraming heat loss, may heat loss to the surrounding, evolved to the surroundings, as well as in the process of converting chemical energy to chemical energy from plants to animals. So next, an ecosystem. This is composed of living things that interact with each other, and the physical and chemical factors that compose the non-living things in an area. So, ecosystem maintains climate and rainfall, gives shelter to wild animals, soil is rich in organic matter, mitigate floods, runoff, provides food, medicines, and fiber. Ecosystem can support itself and is stable. That is, when three conditions are met. So A, there must be constant supply of energy. You come to think of it, kung walang solar energy, kung walang sun, what will happen to the plants? No? So there should be constant supply of energy. There must also be living organisms that convert the energy into organic compounds. So again, with the constant supply of energy, there should also be a living organisms that can convert energy into organic compounds. And another, there must be recycling of matter between organisms and the environment. Okay, so again, ecosystem can support itself and stable when present yung tatlong conditions A, B, and C. Okay, ito yung mga pictures of solar system, terrestrial ecosystem, grassland, marine, freshwater, estuaries, junction of water where water from rivers, stream, and lakes meet the ocean. We also have this urban ecosystem, forest ecosystem. Forest is needed for our survival. It is said that forest is the lungs of the earth. No? So we breathe in air. So from the air we breathe to the wood we use, importante yung forest. Pero nagpaubos din yung forest, Philippine forest. No? So besides providing habitats for animals and livelihoods for humans, forests also offer watershed protection, prevent soil erosion, and mitigate climate change. So yan ang importance ng forest ecosystem. Okay, so we have the component of an ecosystem. Ano yung nandoon sa ecosystem? We have the biotic and abiotic. So the word bio meaning living. So these are living factors such as plants, animals, decomposers, and other organisms. On the other hand, abiotic or abiotic are non-living chemicals, physical factors such as temperature, air, sunlight, water, soil, and nutrients in the ecosystem. Okay. So, sa right side, we have biotic components, meaning living things, no? Abiotic, non-living. So, in an ecosystem. And of course, with the primary source of energy, the sun. Okay, so next, we have these two major subdivisions of ecology. This is autoecology or autoecology deals with the study of ecology and ecosystems in single species up to the population level. Okay, so next we have Synecology, focuses on the larger level as it examines ecology at communities on spatial and temporal levels. Two subdivisions of ecology. So further, let us look at the difference between the two. So autoecology, it is the study of individual organisms or individual species or a population in relation to their environment. The keyword is individual organism or species. While Synecology, it is a study of group of organisms or many species or communities in relation to their environment. Okay, so autoecology can also be called as population ecology, while synecology could also be called community ecology. Okay, so this study is at the level of individual, a population, or the entire species for autoecology, while synecology is concerned with study of the highest level of biological organization, many populations in an area interacting with each other, and also with the environment. It can even be the study of an ecosystem. Okay, so what else? What else? We have autoecology. Studies can be autoecology is comparatively simple, experimental, and inductive, while synecology is complex, philosophical, and deductive. Another, autoecology studies can be accommodated in the laboratory. Yung study ng autoecology can happen in the laboratory setup and data is interpreted using conventional mathematical tools. While synecology studies refers to the interaction of a whole system and that cannot be accommodated in a laboratory setup as a system is naturally formed after interactions of hundreds of years, such as a forest ecosystem. So, yan ang kaibahan between autoecology and synecology, two divisions of ecology. Next, we have the energy flow in ecosystems. So an ecosystem is an open system. Yes, is a starting point of its thermodynamic assessment. Ano ibig sabihin ng open system? Okay, so an open system receives energy and matter input from outside its border and transfers output back to this environment. So pag sabihin natin open system, merong mass, merong energy entering to that system, and then at the same time, meron ding living. Na? Mass entering, energy entering is equal to mass entering, energy living in that system, ecosystem. So every ecosystem must have a boundary. So even open system ang ecosystem, but then there is boundary. So it must be embedded in an environment that provide low entropy energy input and can receive high entropy energy output. Okay, so more on energy flow in the ecosystem. It begins with the capture of solar radiation by the photosynthetic processes in primarily producers. However, that there are also chemoautotrophs that are able to capture energy even without light. Okay, so ano yung mga examples ng chemoautotrophs? Chemoautotrophs. Okay, so an example of chemoautotrophs are sulfur oxidizing bacteria, nitrogen fixing bacteria, iron oxidizing bacteria obtained by oxidation. Another is the cyanobacteria that are included in the nitrogen fixing bacteria that are categorized as chemoautotrophs. Chemo, anong mga elements yon? Sulfur, oxygen, nitrogen, iron, no? So yan ang sa chemoautotrophs. Makaprocess, but then in the absence of light. Okay, next is the thermodynamics. So we have the term thermodynamics. So in physics, thermodynamics is a branch of physics that deals with the relationships between heat and other forms of energy. Relationships between heat and other forms of energy. It describes how thermal energy is converted to and from other forms of energy and how it affects matter. Okay, we have most energy is lost as heat because of the law of thermodynamics. Now, the first law of thermodynamics is based on, this is the law of conservation of energy. No? So this states that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. They are transformed from one form to another. So in the process of transformation from solar energy to chemical energy in plants, hindi lahat ng, as you notice na part lang ng solar energy ang magagamit ng photosynthesis ng plants. Some of the, most of the energy would be evolved to the surroundings, to the environment. No? So, out of 100, only about 10% ang magagamit sa photosynthesis. 90% yung ma-evolve or given off to the surroundings. Now, so there is conversion ng solar energy to chemical energy. Chemical energy to chemical energy sa mga producers and consumers. Okay, so the second law of thermodynamics states that this is another term for another law. This is law of entropy. So entropy is disorder or chaos, no? So this states that Whenever energy is transformed, there is a loss of energy through the release of heat. So the entropy of an object is a measure of the amount of energy which is unavailable to do work. The second law explains the inefficiency and decrease in availability of energy along a food chain and energy generation system. Okay, so ma-explain yan dito sa figure. So in the process of photosynthesis, for example, as I have said a while ago, not all of the light energy from the sun would be absorbed by plant. Some energy is reflected. So as you notice, about 10% only yung magagamit sa photosynthesis process, no? The rest, yung 90%, would be reflected, would be given off to the surroundings. So with this, it results in an increase of disorder or entropy. So ganun din yun sa first consumer, primary consumer, no? So about 1% lang ang magamit, the rest, heat lost. Now we will not discuss the third law. Move tayo sa 6 elements in energy and nutrient in the ecosystem. 6 elements in energy and nutrients in an ecosystem are the sun, abiotic substances, abiotic substances, the primary producers, primary consumers, secondary consumers, hanggang sa decomposers. There is energy flow through the ecosystem. Okay. Next, we have the biogeochemical cycles. Bio meaning life, geo meaning earth, chemicals, of course, those elements, those elemental which in the cycles of nutrients. So, ano yung mga elements na yun? We have the carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, as we have stated in the previous slides kanina, no? So, a cycling of nutrients, particularly water, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur, from the abiotic components of the ecosystem, the water, air, soil, and rock, through the biotic components, plants and animals, fungi, and bacteria. Cycling of nutrients from biogeochemical cycles. So, understanding how chemical elements are necessary for life is another major focus of ecosystem ecology. The biosphere interactively interacts with the 3 abiotic spheres. Ano yung 3 abiotic spheres? The hydrosphere, atmosphere, and lithosphere. So this to provide the available concentration of each chemical element for life. Thus, oxygen, hydrogen, and carbon dominate the composition of life. C, H, and O. And O is available in the lithosphere, hydrogen in the hydrosphere, and of course, carbon is quite sparse in the environment. Okay. So yan ang biogeochemical cycles. Further, so these cycles are natural cycles, no? Once ma-alter itong cycle, kasi sabi natural cycles, once na ma-alter ito, hindi na natural, no? So, merong effect yan sa ecosystem. Now, so our natural cycles that facilitate the self-regulating process of our ecosystem because it provides fresh water, fresh air, I mean, transform dead organic matter in the form of that can be taken back through metabolic system of plants, helps retain necessary elements in usable form for living components of ecosystem. Okay, so I will not discuss anymore the cycles, no? Kasi maubusan tayo ng oras. Okay, so mention ko na lang yan. Okay, sa nutrient cycles, we have the water cycle, carbon cycle, oxygen cycle, nitrogen cycle, under biogeological cycles. And sedimentary cycles, we have sulfur and phosphorus and others in lesser amount, no? Yan ang nutrient cycles. Okay, next we have the fundamental laws in ecology. The first one states that all ecosystems, I believe na absorb niyo ano ang ecosystem. Alam niyo what is an ecosystem, no? So all ecosystems are open systems embedded in an environment from which they receive energy input and discharge energy output. So na-discuss kanina that an ecosystem is an open system. So there would be coming in and there would be coming out from that system. So kung may matter entering, may energy entering, meron ding matter and energy output. Okay, so ecosystems have many levels of organization and operate hierarchically. So there are many levels of organization and they have will operate hierarchically. Okay, so next, thermodynamically, carbon-based life has a viability domain determined to be between 250 and 350 Kelvin, that there is a good balance between the opposing ordering and disordering processes. Okay, so the composition of organic matter and building of biochemically important compounds. And the process rates are too slow at lower temperatures. At higher temperatures, the enzymes that catalyze the process are destroyed. Okay, so this is true, no? At higher temperature, enzymes that catalyze the process are destroyed. Okay, next that we have mass, including biomass, and energy are conserved. So number 4, this principle is used principally in ecological modeling. So when we say mass, biomass, energy are conserved, walang mawala. No? So as I have said kanina, whatever entering would be, yun din ang living. Ibig sabihin, ma-recover lahat. Conserve. So only na kung makita ninyo, part of the solar energy would be used in the photosynthesis of producers. The rest are maano natin sa heat loss. Maybe again to the environment or back as reflection. Okay. So next is 5. The carbon-based life on Earth has a characteristic basic biochemistry which all organisms share. Yes, basically made of carbon. Kasi sabi carbon-based life on Earth. So it implies that many similar biochemical compounds can be found in all living things. All living things have largely the same composition which can be represented using around 25 elements. So organic compounds, yan ang concern ng organic chemistry. Sa biochemistry, and doon yung carbon compounds. Isa yan yung mga carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, nucleic acid. No? So, which can be represented using around 25 elements. But the very, what is this? Pinaka-base talaga, yes, carbon. So this principle also allows one to identify stoichiometric chemistry. So next, number 6. Number 6. No ecological identity exists in isolation that is connected to others. Okay. Similar to human being, no man is an island, no? So we need to connect. We need to in order to exist, kailangan natin ng connections with others. Okay. In number 6, the theoretical minimum unit for any ecosystem is 2 populations. As you can see in our figure, merong dalawa, no? So minimum of 2 populations. So we're in the 2 population, one fixes the energy, and the other one decomposes and cycles waste. Now, in reality, however, ecosystems are composed of complex interactions at all levels. These interactions provide environmental niche in which each component acts. The network also has synergistic effect on its components. The ecosystem is more than the sum of its parts. So from the minimum of 2, the most complex na. So there is interconnectedness from one to the other. Hindi pwede mabuhay yung isa na mag-isa. Halimbawa, si bird. Paano si bird mabuhay kung siya lang? Without those fruits, without those caterpillar and other insects na pwede niyang makain. No? So, again, no ecological identity exists in isolation, but is connected to others. Similar yan sa inyo. Kung mag-isa kayo, wala kayong ka-share, wala kayong mapagsabihan. What happened to our examination? Meron ba kayong sagot? Wala ba? No? Mahirap kung ikaw ang mag-isa lang. Number 7, living organisms need energy to maintain, grow, and develop. So all ecosystem processes are irreversible. And ibig sabihin na irreversible cannot be reversed. No? So kung ano man yung ma-absorb ng producer from the sun, hindi na yun mabalik, no? 100%. So this is the most useful way to express the second law of thermodynamics. So this energy is as in the form of heat to the environment and cannot be recovered again as usable energy. Thus, evolution can also be understood in the context of this principle and is rooted in the second law of thermodynamics. Okay, so number 7. Okay, number 8, biological processes use captured energy to move further from thermodynamic equilibrium and maintain the state of low entropy and high energy relative to its surrounding and to thermodynamic equilibrium. Now, this principle is another way of showing that ecosystems grow and expand. It has been shown that exergy of an ecosystem corresponds to the amount of energy that is needed to break down the system. Number 8. Okay, so 9. After the initial intake of energy across the boundary, ecosystem growth and development is possible by A, increase of physical structure, increase of biomass. Second, an increase of the network, more cycling process, no? And third, an energy of information in bodies in the system. Yan ang number 9. And then 10, an ecosystem receiving solar radiation will attempt to maximize eco-exergy storage or maximize power such that if more than one possibility is offered, then in the long run, the one which moves energy farthest from thermodynamic equilibrium will be selected. Okay? So, not clear ang ating figure. Anyway, yan ang number 10. Okay. So next we have to familiarize know what is population coherence. So in population coherence, cooperation is a fundamental principle that is required for every level of biological organization. Cooperation is required. Evolutionary construction is based on cooperation between organisms. Cooperation. Now, there are 5 rules for cooperation. First is kin selection. So this occurs when cooperation favors those from the same family lineage. Now, it is also more likely to work in small groups rather than large groups unless highly inbred, no? Inbred. Okay. So, anong example ng kin selection? So, we have the honeybee and other social insects provides the clearest example of kin selection. They are also particularly interesting examples because of the peculiar, unusual genetic relationship among the family members. Like, a male honeybees or yung drones developed from the queen's unfertilized eggs that are haploid. So, yun yung example ng kin selection. Another, we have the direct reciprocity. So all strategies of direct reciprocity can lead to evolution of cooperation if the fundamental inequality is fulfilled. Ano ibig sabihin ng direct reciprocity? So when we say direct reciprocity, it means that A helps B and B helps A. Direct reciprocity. Okay. So next one is indirect reciprocity. So indirect reciprocity rather suggests that what one species does for another, then the other will do for others as well. Indirect. Okay. So, paano ito i-explain? Okay, sa number 2, yung direct reciprocity. So, you help your classmate and your classmate helps you. But in indirect reciprocity, you help your classmate and instead of helping you, yung natulungan mo, tumutulong sa other classmate. So that's indirect reciprocity. So, actually, itong indirect reciprocity comes in 2 flavors. So, upstream reciprocity. So, this is based on recent positive experience. Parang na natulungan ka. So, since natulungan ka, that motivates you, that help motivates you to help also others. No? Okay, so yan ang indirect reciprocity. So next is graph selection. So graph selection, this is the traditional evolutionary gain dynamics suggested that populations are well mixed. meaning that interactions between any two individuals in a population is equally likely to happen. Okay, so graph selection. Another is the group selection, graph and group selections. Okay, so in group selection, this is a powerful mechanism that promotes cooperation. It only occurs, however, when all its basic requirements are fulfilled in a particular situation. Or this is a process where an individual's detrimental behavior is beneficial to the population. So take note that an individual's detrimental behavior is beneficial to the population. That's group selection. Okay, so next is intra-specific competition. So this is an interaction in population ecology whereby members of the same species compete for limited resources. So halimbawa in our picture on the left, so limited ang resources, limited ang pagkain, no? So pwede na same species would compete with each other. So leading to the reduction of fitness for both individuals, but the more fit individual survives and is able to reproduce. So in the second picture, male zebras fight to defend their territory and ensure breeding privileges. Another example of intra-specific competition, two male birds of the same species might compete for mates in the same area. Okay, so yan ang intra-specific competition. Okay, for species interactions, we have, this is an interaction between species. This refers to positive and negative associations between species that favor or inhibit mutual growth and evolution of populations. It may take the form of competition, predation, parasitism, commensalism, and mutualism. So in the figure, species interaction, it could be smiley, or wala lang, or harm. Na? So, may mga interactions like naka-benefit yung dalawa. Benefits yung isa with the second, naka-benefit ito with the second. Another, we have naka-benefit yung isa, pero unaffected siya. Another naman, naka-benefit, pero naka-harm naman at the same time. Na? So, andito yung mga examples. Okay, next. The nature of predation. Okay, so nature of predation. Predation is the consumption of one organism's prey and other organisms the predator. Predation is a biological interaction where one organism, the predator, kills and eats another organism, its prey. So many predatory animals, both vertebrate and invertebrate, have sharp claws or jaws to grip, to kill, to cut their prey. No? So with thievery, the consumption of dead matter is excluded from the predator-prey relationship. Nevertheless, the prey-predator relationship encompasses a variety of relationships and interactions with a wide variety of predators. And most obvious classification is taxonomic. That is, carnivores consume animals, Herbivores consume plants, omnivores consume both plants and animals. Predation. Okay, so next we have the grazers. This would attack a large number of prey during their lifetime, but only parts of their prey, consume only parts of their prey. Next, we have parasites. Ayan ang parasites. So these consume parts of their prey, harmful but not lethal, only attack one or very few individuals during their lifetimes. Parasites. And we also have these parasitoids. Parasitoids, ito yung mga insects that belong to order Hymenoptera or Diptera. So they lay their eggs in or near other insects, like in our picture. So larval parasitoids develop in or on its hosts. Eventually consumes the host and kills it. Okay, so next, human activities. So, sa picture, we have changes in land use. We believe that human caused changes on the Earth's ecosystem. Human activities, again, caused changes on the Earth's ecosystem. Now, there are two types of changes, no, done by human activities. It could be positive. It could be what's this? It could be direct, no? Could be direct and could be indirect. No. Sa mga direct, sorry, ayoko na mag-admit. Okay. Kasi patapos na tayo. Have, again, human activities have direct impacts on the Earth's ecosystem. So, yung human activity can cause changes on the Earth's ecosystem, directly or indirectly. So, ano yung direct impact due to human activities? Direct impact. So, the use of, ano yan, mga sa development, rural, urban recreation, direct, no, impact. Forestry, water quality, wildlife, greenhouse and climate change. Okay, so okay sa land use, conversion of land for production of food. So ma-convert yung land for production of food, fiber, and other goods used by humans. So these changes causes loss of habitat. While on the other hand, on other human activities, however, are indirect, such as atmospheric changes and changes in hydrology. So at least some of these anthropogenic activities affect all the ecosystems on Earth. So usage ng fossil fuels and the intensifications and expansion of agriculture have altered the carbon cycles, nitrogen cycles, sulfur cycles on a global scale. So affected ang ecosystem sa lahat ng mga human activities. Apektado, no? So though there is development, like for example, yung mga bundok, agricultural land would be converted to a subdivision. So maraming nawawala sa process. And then if we come to think of it, tumataas yung pollution sa tubig, sa land, no? Hangin, due to change in from the agriculture to rural or even urban. Say, for example, gawing subdivision, no? So nawala na yung habitat ng other animals. Piktado. Okay, so when we say human activities, mataas pa ito na, or this is a broad topic, no? Pero we need to observe also our time.